and welcome back to Alex versus Eyeshadow, or welcome if you are new. Over here on this channel we're all about using up our makeup, using what we have and not contributing to overconsumption any more than we need to. In today's video we will be doing my Pan Those Eyeshadows update. I know that different creators like to do Pan Those Eyeshadows a few different ways. My way is pretty simple, where I just have all of my eyeshadows in a spreadsheet and then I just use a random number generator to generate one of those eyeshadows in the spreadsheet. Then I work on it until I get pan. This year I have put in a 20 use veto, so if I've used the shade a minimum of 20 times and I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere near pan, then I am allowed to roll it out, and that's just because I've got quite a lot of new palettes in my collection and I feel like if I sat trying to get pan on brand new palettes, I'd still have the same palettes in from the start of the year. Although we have had some good pan progress in this project this year so far. Today isn't the world's most exciting update. We don't have any pans this month, but it's always just good to check in and discuss any progress that we are making and how I'm feeling about the palettes and eyeshadows and everything like that. We'll start with the oldest shadow, and I think this has been in since the start of the year, and this is Plume in my Agate Temptation palette. And it's just this lovely deep dark foresty green here. We have got 2 more uses on it this month, which has brought us up to 10 uses now in the project. So we've got 10 more uses before I can roll this shade out. You might be able to see that this is just such a firmly pressed shade. It almost looks brand new. The embossing is still going strong on that shade. I could never really dream of hitting pan on that anytime soon, so I'm glad that I have got the 10 use veto in, even though I feel like this is going to end up being with us all year anyway, because I'm going so slowly trying to get those 10 uses. I do think I've kind of realised that I don't really love a cool toned green on me, which I think that this is. It's in a very warm palette, but I do think that green in itself is quite cool toned and doesn't quite work for me. It just looks a little bit dingy on my eyes, and it's not a shade that I look forward to reaching for, although the other shades in this palette are colours that I look forward to reaching for. So unfortunately I think that's why I'm dragging my feet a little bit on that one. I will show you how it's been looking through the project, and you will see that it has barely changed. It has barely changed in the course of this year, and it's so annoying because I really do love this palette, but I just think this shade in isolation is kind of grinding me down a little bit. Which I know is a bit dramatic. It's very much a first world problem. But that is my update for Plume. Then we've got 2 shadows that were rolled in not last month but the month before. One of them was this shade Hocus Pocus in my Salem Witch City palette, which I just love the lenticular packaging on this. But it was this shade Hocus Pocus, which is this lovely purple shade. I didn't get any uses on this last month because it was so similar to the shade that it rolled in to replace, and I was just like, oh great, another deep dark moody purple. However, this one is a little bit more purple than the one that was in the rich palette, and I really like this on me. I've never been a fan of purples on me in general, but I have very much enjoyed this, and especially with my lavender shade that I've drawn in the Longing palette. Obviously those two to go together really well. So maybe it turns out I just don't like cool toned purples, but warm toned purples are a little bit of me, which is an interesting and exciting discovery. I used Hocus Pocus 4 times this month for a total of 4 uses in the project so far, and I'm really glad that I'm feeling reinvigorated around this kind of shade and around purples in general as well. So again, this project is just so good for getting to know your eyeshadow collection, forcing you to try shades that you wouldn't normally reach for, forcing you to try combinations that you wouldn't normally consider, and that is why I love it so much. And I would say it probably is my favourite project pan project, and it is the project that got me into project panning all those years ago. Hopefully you've seen how this was looking compared to last month, and maybe there's a little bit of wearing away of the embossing there, but again, I don't think this is going to be one of those where I'm going to be reaching pan on it anytime soon. I do find it quite a lot harder to hit pan on deep dark moody shades, as much as I do enjoy them. Speaking of deep dark moody shades, the other deep dark moody shade that we rolled in was Temple Dust, and this is in my Medusa palette by Beauty Moon Cosmetics. And this is just such a little stunner of the palette. I'm just being a little bit more careful because this shade Venom Veil is having a hard time, and she wants to she wants to throw herself on the floor, and I'm not going to let her do that. So the shade that we have been working on here is Temple Dust, which is this lovely deep dark red, and I've been enjoying this shade so much I'm wearing it today in my outer corner. And this shade is really special, where if you pack it on, you get a lovely blackened red shade, which is what it almost is. It's not quite blackened, but very close to blackened red. But when you pack it on, you do get that. But if you blend it out, you'd get this lovely, what Wicked Bloom looks like it should be. You could realistically just blend this out with itself because it's so easy to layer. But this then coupled with Wicked Bloom, which is what I've done today, it's just a really fun combination that I've been enjoying. I've only worn it 2 times this month, but I think I've just been so caught up with that Hocus Pocus combination of purples that I haven't really thought about my other eyeshadows. However, I had a sudden strike of inspiration to mix the red and the purple together. So today I have done Temple Dust, but with the inner corner highlight from the Longing palette, which is also in this project. And I think it's gone together really nicely. The purple going into the red. I actually do really like it. And I have also done the purple going into a green smoky eye as well, which I think has also worked really nicely as well. So again, forcing me to be experimental and finding out that I really enjoy colour combinations that I would have definitely not thought were acceptable before. We've got 2 uses on Temple Dust this month, meaning that we've used it 7 times in the project so far. And again, I severely doubt if we're going to get a pan on this. We're just about getting a little bit of disturbance in the pan, maybe a very, very, very slight dip, but I just can't see us getting to pan anytime soon, as much as I would love that because I do really like the shade. A shade that we rolled in last month is the shade Void, and this is in my Beauty Bay Smoky palette, and it's this shade here, which is like a sort of pewter shade, but when you swatch it out, it does have a little weird purpley base to it, doesn't it? And I just think that has been so good for putting it with Hocus Pocus and the lavender shade from my Blend Bunny Longing palette. And it has also worked really well with these reds as the outer corner shimmer today. I just think I got really lucky there, having those 3 shades that go really well together. It's just an easy look to rinse and repeat every day. So I ended up using Void 7 times this month. Beauty Bay shimmers are pretty easy to hit pan on, so I think this could probably end up being the next pan in this project. Maybe not next month, but the month after. I do think I will be getting a pan in Void, and I'll just obviously show you some close-ups to see how different it is looking from last month to this month. The Beauty Bay logo sort of stamp on the shadow is barely even visible at all anymore, so I really do think that is some good progress there. And then finally been using Twist of Fate in the Blend Bunny Longing palette, which is this very pale sort of lavendery lilac-y shade here, and I will swatch that for you. It looks pretty white on camera, but there is a sort of lavendery lilac-y undertone to that, and again, I am wearing it as an inner corner highlight today. I've been very much enjoying a matte inner corner lately. This has been my inner corner highlight for pretty much every single look that I've done this month, which has meant that I've got 7 uses on it this month. The Blend Bunny formula is just so beautiful. It's so stunning, so easy to work with. For a shade this light, to just swatch that with 1 dab in the shade like that, and then for me to get that level of colour payoff in the inner corner, it's almost like too much. When I first dab it, I'm like, oh, what have I done? I've used too much. But once I start blending it out and everything, it's actually okay. Very, very, very impressive quality of matte. I don't know how deep Blend Bunny shadows are. I've never really seen anyone pan a Blend Bunny shadow. They're just a little bit too precious to be panning and burning through, aren't they? No, we need to get out of that mentality. No makeup is so precious that it can't be used right now. There's no point in saving anything for best or for a special occasion, because then it doesn't get used and money is just sitting on your dressing table instead of sitting on your face where it belongs. Pep talk over. Twist of Fate has got a little bit of a dip going in it, and I will just show you the comparisons between this month and last month. And sorry, I'm dreadful at remembering to swatch the shadows in this project, so I just thought I would throw in the swatching at the end. So we've got Void from the Smoky palette by Beauty Bay, We've got Twist of Fate from the Longing palette by Blend Bunny. We've got Hocus Pocus from Salem Witch City by Nomad. We've got Temple Dust from Medusa by Beauty Moon Cosmetics. And then we've still got Plume from the Agate Temptation palette by Singe Beauty. But that is all I have to update you on in terms of my eyeshadow panning. If you do like this kind of content, please do consider subscribing. Thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed already. I see you and I really appreciate you. Really hope that you enjoy this video. I will be posting new content every Thursday, so I'll catch you in the next one.